What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with the review for Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 3. Believe this is episode 12. If not, it'll be correct in the description bar below. The episode was titled Big Depression Energy. So you guys, before we get into the review, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and are not subscribed to the channel, then I need you guys to do me a big favor and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit the notification bell button, share the video, and with that out the way, let's go ahead and get into this review. And also, if you guys want to follow me on social media, I'm going to try to figure out a way to put my social media handles up here. But you guys can follow me on Instagram at _Jbsayzwhat, and you can follow me on, well, Instagram is just Jbsayzwhat, Twitter is _Jbsayzwhat. Now, with that all out the way, let's go ahead and just get into Love and Marriage Huntsville, shall we? All right, you guys. So the episode, it opens up and we're at the last day in Vegas. So we see everybody, they're packing up. We see as Marceau is, cooking steaks. So him, Maurice, and Martell, they're sitting outside and having a conversation, right? So then we see Kimmy. So Kimmy went into the room where Tisha is, right? So Kimmy is asking Tisha, was she bothered by the fact that when they went to the chapel that Marceau did not want to renew the vows. Vows, not vowels, the vows. And, she was like, the past 3 years for she and Marceau has been very rocky, which that's an understatement, right? So then Kimmy brings up the fact that at the dinner table that Marceau mentioned the bout with depression, right? And, she said that's the reason that she wanted to do therapy with Marceau, which I understand, right? But I feel like Tisha was doing the therapy with Marceau because of the outside factors that have plagued their relationship, not necessarily his depression. But it would have been a good point, like, hey, we can do this together, and if you need to talk to a therapist solo, you do that. But her thing was more about them as a couple. So then we see Tiffany and Lewis talking, which I could have done without them, but they were talking. So Tiffany was talking about how she thought that the Vegas trip was a really good trip, right? And then she informs Lewis that after dinner, Destiny pulled her to the side, right? And Destiny was telling her that she just wants to get back to Huntsville, that she would like to sit down with her and have a conversation with her and just try to see how they can move forward, mend what's technically there's no friendship, so just kind of fix whatever the issue is between those two, so that way it doesn't come up in the future, I guess, so to speak, right? So Tiffany is open for this. Destiny is a lot better than me because there's just no way that I would be able to sit down with the likes of a Tiffany. Just keeping that real with you guys, right? So then we move over to Martell, Maurice, and Marceau, right? You guys remember I told you that he made steak, so they were eating, right? So Martell let us know that, he too felt like he's been going through some depression, and honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if Martell isn't dealing with depression just because of the tailspin that his life is in. But at the same token, Martell is the only person that's to blame for what is going on in his life presently and currently. So he's the only person that's to blame for that, right? But not saying that he couldn't be dealing with depression, right? Because you blew up your marriage, you tore apart your family, right? So not saying that he couldn't be dealing with depression. So Marceau says that, he will never give up time for money. And he will definitely discuss it a little bit more in the episode about him and his talks about his depression, because it's just alarming and it's scary, right? You're out here making this money, right? And nothing's wrong with that, right? You're making money for you and your family, but one, you're taking away time from your family, and then two, with this money that you're making, you can make all the money in the world, but once you're dead and gone, that money can't come with you. So enjoy everything that life has to offer while you're here, and still make your money, but just enjoy everything that life has to offer, so that being your kids and your family. But we'll discuss him a little bit more later on in the review. So let's move on, you guys. All right, you guys. So we move out 1 week later. Oh God! So the rest of this episode was really centered around Mel and Martell and a sprinkle of the Scotts. Where do we want to go first? We'll save them for last. So let's just talk about the Scotts real quick. So since Vegas, Kimmy is doing, she's trying to be better with her relationship with Tisha. And the question that I really do have with that one is, I get that you want to be better with your relationship with her, but is Tisha granting the same thing, right? Tisha has so many expectations when it comes to Kimmy, but you often question, does she, the things that she wants, does she reciprocate that back? Like that's my big question when it comes to Tisha. Tisha has all these wants, these desires, and these needs, but do you then extend that same grace to other people, right? But they're having dinner with each other, right? So they sit down, right? And Kimmy brings up, the depression talk that Marceau had when they were out there in Vegas, right? And Tisha's like, even I didn't know. Personally, that wouldn't be something that you guys are family, so nothing wrong with saying it in front of family, but you're on camera as well, right? I just don't know if I would necessarily, because that's not a good thing that your husband is saying that he's dealing with depression and you're saying that you didn't know. That means that there's a communication issue with you and your husband, which therapy could have definitely helped with that, right? But there's a big communication issue. And then there's also, it's a communication issue, one, and it's also an issue with you that you can't tell when there's something wrong with your partner. Like, that's someone you've been with for 15 years, right? And you should be able to know when he's good, when he's not, when he's good, he's in a good mood, when his mood is a little bit altered. Like, you as his wife of 15 years should know how he is and know when something is not in the norm. So then Marceau says that he's not going to do anything about it. And it was at that point that I had a huge issue with that statement, because that's typical in our community, right? We as black people, people, they always say, go to the church, go pray to God, right? Which absolutely, there's nothing wrong with praying to God to help him through things that you're going through, right? There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But there's also nothing wrong with you also sitting down with a licensed therapist, a licensed counselor, or someone just to get some help, because it might feel better for you just to put it out there and, just to put it out there to an impartial third party instead of just, I know our preachers are, but they know us. So they're going to come from a place of, I know you. So I just feel like, definitely therapy can be a helpful tool, right? So Maurice told Marceau that he needs to talk to someone, which 100% I agree, he needs to talk to someone, right? So Tisha got offended twice in this episode, right? With this scene. She got offended when Marceau told her she needs to listen more. She needs to listen. She's like, I do listen to Marceau. Obviously you don't if he feels that way, right? You might feel like you're listening to him, but he doesn't feel that way. Don't negate what he's saying. Like, that was the issue that I had. Don't negate what he says. So then, Kimmy was talking about the fact that, sometimes the spouse can be the issue. And Tisha got her feelings about that. I'm like, she's not saying specifically that you're the issue. She's saying that it could be the case, or he might not feel comfortable talking. I don't know how Tisha's, I don't understand how her brain works, but hey, it works some kind of way. But let's move on. And actually, we're going to wrap up with Mel and Martell, unfortunately. All right, you guys. So talking about Mel and Martell, right? So, Mel. Actually, kind of don't need my notes for this, but I'll actually will use them. So Mel is at her office, right? And Tiffany comes over. So we find out that Mel has this line where she has masks, shirts, and hats. It's called God Said Go, right? I think she said she was on social media, which this cast spends a lot of time on social media. They spend a lot of time on the social media, and more specifically, I believe they spend a lot of time on the Facebook. So she's talking about she was upset about something with Martell. Someone told her to go pray, and that's when she said God said go. So she created that, right? Congratulations on that. Actually, the shirts look nice. I might look into it, see if they have anything in men's, because I like that. God, I like that. God says go, said go. Actually really do like that. Um, so then Tiffany's like, she hasn't talked to Mel since they've been back from Vegas. And she's like, yeah, I know. I saw that you reached out to me, and I just needed a break. So the reason that Tiffany was reaching out to you is because she wanted to set up for you with the interns. And I'm like, Mel, I get it. You wanted a break, but what you did was not kinda, it was hella unprofessional, right? You went to this woman to get some interns. She was calling you and texting you about the interns, and you ignored her phone calls. Now, granted, yes, the situation in Vegas with you and Martell was toxic, right? And you know that you and Martell can't be in the same room at this point. Cool, got it. But she apologizes, right, for that. And then she apologizes on Destiny's behalf back in Vegas when Destiny said that she would drag Tiffany. I'm like, that's not your place to apologize. If anybody owes, if Destiny wanted to give an apology, that would be on Destiny, and that's not on you, Mel. So I'm gonna need you to keep the apologies to yourself, because that has nothing to do with you, right? So then Tiffany told her that she and Destiny, they're gonna have a sidebar, and they had a sidebar, and they're just gonna figure out how to work things out, right? So then we move over to Lewis. So we see Lewis, him and Martell and the boys, they're meeting, right? So Martell wants to get little Martell into sports, more specifically baseball, see if he has what it takes to do baseball, right? So they're working on his baseball skills. So then Lewis pulls Martell to the side, and they have a little bit of a conversation, right? So they talk about Vegas, and Lewis is like, when it came down to you and Mel, like you guys were arguing, and and Martell was like, yeah, and it was uncalled for, and Lewis was like, on whose side? And he was like, on both. That one I will agree with, right? I'll agree with that. There's equal blame on both sides, equal blame. So I'm not going to negate that one. So then he's talking about the fact that he has an issue with the fact that his kids know Mel songs. I don't have an issue with that either, right? I don't think that the kids should know these songs. Granted, the kids are very young. I just don't agree with those kids knowing the songs. I just don't agree with it, you guys. I don't. I'm not defending Martell by no means. I just don't think that those kids should know the songs, right? And here's the reason why. I know that the kids are young, so they're just singing a song they're just singing a song and they think it's cute, right? But they're gonna get older and finally realize what those songs are about. Like, I'm gonna give you guys a specific example for me, right? Like, I was when I was a kid, I think I was about like 6 or 7 years old, right? And I was in the car. It was me and my cousins. We were in the car with my uncle, and Brick House came on, right? And we knew the words to the song, and my uncle would turn back to the back seat and say, "Stop singing that damn song. We're just singing a song. We don't know what it literally means to be a brick house, right?" My bad for spitting. We don't know what it means to be a brick house. But then as I got older and I really listened to those lyrics, I'm like, oh, that's why my uncle told us to stop singing that song. So that's what I'm saying, you guys. The kids are going to grow up, and granted, the kids are gonna have a lot to see, right? They're gonna have this show to watch. They're gonna have social media. They're gonna have so much shit to see about both of their parents. So I just think we should. I mean, yes, like I said, they're kids, so they don't technically know what the song really means, but eventually one day they are. So Martell mentions to Lewis that he has an issue with the fact that Mel has babysitters around the kids, right? The fact that, she's so busy and that she has a babysitter, which I don't understand what the issue is. If she's busy and she can't have the kids with her when she's doing her speaking engagements or wherever she is, if the kids can't be there, then why not have someone that she knows and trusts with the kids to watch them? So Martell says that he wants the kids full time. And I'm like, Martell, that is disrespectful as the fuck. If it was me and I was Mel, I would tell your bald-headed ass to fuck off. Period, point blank. I would cuss you out. And he says he believes that Mel will say yes. I'm like, in what universe do you think that she's going to agree to you taking her kids full time? Martell, you're a fucking idiot. So then we see Martell and Mel, they meet up, right? I will say one thing about Martell, his shirt, it wasn't super duper tight, but them pants were. So they're talking, right? So they talk about Vegas, and he was like, I was really happy to see you, but then he backtracked. I'm like, oh, is baby mama not gonna feel, what? We're not gonna call her that. Is Arian Curry not gonna like that? Because I really do wonder, what does he tell that fool? Like, Arian Curry is the biggest idiot around. Don't care what anybody thinks, she's an idiot. So Martell feels that him and Mel, they know how to push each other's buttons, which I will agree with that, but Mel disagreed with that. I'm like, I'm going to say you guys do know how to push each other's buttons because y'all do it all the time, right? So then she talks about, his big down for them, which was, coleslaw. And he apologized for that, but then he says that, but you only apologized to me once or twice, and you've done more stuff than I've done. Really? So Mel has another baby that we don't know about with another man. If she doesn't have another child outside of your marriage, then she's not done more than you did. But he's talking about the fact that she used to go to hotels. She was like, yeah. And then she's like, we almost didn't celebrate our first wedding anniversary because of your mouth. I'm like, your first? I'm like, well, damn. So then he wants to bring up how many people she has watching the kids. He's like, it's about 10. She says, that's an exaggeration. She says, okay, it's 5. She said, it's 2. He said, it's 3. She said, okay. He said, so here's the thing. So she's gone to Atlanta. She's done this. She's done that, right? She had a speaking engagement. She had 2 speaking engagements in Atlanta. So for a few hours, his cousin watched the kids. Then her mother watched the kids. And then Marcus watched the kids. So let's run that back, right? A cousin, her mother, her brother. So their uncle, their grandmother, and a cousin. So those 3 people that you've named are family members that have watched your kids. So what do you have a big issue with? Now, yes, could Mel have said, hey, Martell, I'm going here, I'm going there. Is it okay if I leave the kids with you to watch them? But she didn't have to do that. Like she said, if I want my kids with me, then my kids will be with me. Martell just looks for any reason to argue, to be quite honest with you, and that's what I've deduced. He wants any reason to argue with Mel. And she ended up walking out and leaving. I honest to God, don't blame Mel for that one, right? So that's the review, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell button so you guys are notified when I drop anything else. Share the video. Until the next one, stay safe, take care of yourselves. Remember to wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance, be blessed, and I'll see you guys later. I will say one thing before I get off of here. That trailer for what's to come the rest of the season. What? Mel and Wanda, Mel's mom and Wanda are gonna go at it. The Martell's mama gonna have a little bit of issue with Destiny. I wonder what that scene was where that guy got on his knees, looked like he was proposing to Mel. It's gonna be interesting, and I still don't even know when they're gonna film the reunion. But that's it, you guys. I'll see you guys later. Bye.